Shining in the Darkness is the kind of old school dungeon crawler I've always tried to avoid. It's got one castle, one town, one labyrinthine dungeon, and that's it. And you'll be spending a lot of time in that one labyrinth. You can probably see why I call this an old school game. Delving deeper into a singular dungeon is the hallmark of some of the oldest video game RPGs, namely Wizardry, which also inspired Dragon Quest. Unlike DQ though, Shining in the Darkness embraces the hardcore style of cautiously grinding through first-person hallways without much other content at all. This concept never appealed to me until I started playing a ton of RPGs, that is, especially older ones. Games like Dragon Quest show how in a well-designed adventure the joy is in the grind, and in slowly getting strong enough to take out the fearsome beasts that gave you a rough time before. The first game in Camelot's Shining series takes this idea to the extreme, which initially had me worried. Your adventure starts with a lengthy, not to mention difficult, trek through 4 caves found within the labyrinth just to unlock the next floor. This takes a good half the game, 15 hours for me, and until it's over there's really nothing else to do beyond buying the best gear in town, which only takes a few hours. I won't lie, this felt like a slog, but I also had trouble putting it down. The grind is addictive, and you're all but guaranteed to make progress every time you step back into that damn dungeon, even if only to reach one more chest. It also would have probably been more fun to make my own maps. I cheated and used online ones since I streamed my playthrough and wanted to keep things moving, but I bet I would have had a blast mapping it out on my own. If you've got the time for that, it's the way to go. Thankfully, at the midpoint, Shining in the Darkness introduces a crafting system. Hey wait, don't go! This is an old school game, so the crafting's actually fun. It's simple as hell, you just need a lot of cash and one material, then you choose what kind of gear to make and who from your party to make it for. All the resultant armor and weapons kick total ass, so with that concrete and extremely useful goal in mind, the second half of the game gets super fun. And if you make it there, you sure as heck earned it. That's why I love RPGs. There is a little more beyond the dungeon crawling though. First off, the visuals are a feast, full of color and cartoony western vibes. I'm not familiar enough with the Genesis to know how their graphics compare to other titles, but they impressed me. There's a surprising number of characters too. You get your quests from the king and his court, you occasionally meet new characters in the labyrinth itself, and there's a tavern full of local denizens who are happy to give their opinion on your progress. Notably, their dialogue changes after each story trigger, giving you that little bit more motivation that you might need to soldier on. As another plus, the translation seems fine. I never had trouble understanding what was going on, even though this is a Japanese game from the 90s. If I didn't know better, I might think this were a Western game. The music's also pretty good. Too bad there's not nearly enough of it, nowhere close. The same few tunes, as catchy as they are, repeat throughout the entire labyrinth. All the 4 beginning caves share the same song, for example, so my streams often turned into random VGM jukebox parties to stave off the musical monotony. Also, none of the tunes are ultimately that memorable outside of the game, at least I can't remember any. Masahiko Yoshimura does an admirable job, but doesn't quite match the competition of his era in terms of pure punch. What he does achieve with the first Shining game, however, is an irresistibly cozy, idealistic medieval vibe that continues into the next entry, Shining Force. These aren't super serious, plot-heavy games, they're fantasy comfort food, and I see why so many Sega kids hold this series in high esteem. It offers RPGs in subgenres most Westerners at the time weren't used to on consoles. For Shining in the Darkness, it's pure dungeon crawling, while Shining Force offers tactical strategy. I look forward to yapping about the latter in a future video, but until then, thanks for watching this one. Leave a like for that algorithm, let me know your thoughts on Shining 1 in the comments, and subscribe for more videos on RPGs. Oh, and drop by for a stream sometime, we have a lot of fun. See you soon and have a blessed day.